Podcast number 4. It's Brendan and Kevin here, and we are at Loam Lander. Honestly, I'm pretty excited about this podcast. I'm not going to lie to you. We have just barely put our podcast notes together. We're ready to roll, though, and we're excited to kind of share with you some of the excitement we've had over the past couple of weeks. And so what we kind of like to kind of make as our trend is to talk a little bit about our background pictures or videos that we have here on our Zoom call and our podcast. So if you're only hearing this, I'll try and describe it as well as we can. And if you're watching it, of course, you can see these backgrounds. But Kevin, why don't we start with yours? I love this picture. Once I finally remembered and realized where it's at, this is a place that I love to ride.
Yeah, definitely. This is Capitol Forest, and for the ones that are listening, it's a picture of my son, but it's from the backside. He didn't know I was taking the picture, and so he's all geared up, ready for the downhill runs. But he's taking a break and just kind of overlooking the scenery, and it's super green and lush, and overlooking the mountains and just the valley. And it's just one of those moments where he's just like, "This is what mountain biking's about. It's take a breath, stop what you're doing. It's not always about speed, and just enjoy the scenery, enjoy the view, enjoy the moment that you're in." And kind of what this picture means to me. And it was during the time of summers where it was towards the end. It was probably like July, August time, and it was just a great day of riding. And I remember this day. I remember Keller taking this moment. It was just, I don't know, it's just one of those moments where you just take it all in and enjoy the ride.
Yeah. Isn't it awesome how, like, I don't know, I've watched a bunch of shows where you have those weird cheesy comedies and like they take a picture in their mind or whatever. But these are kind of these moments where it's like visually it brings back all the emotions of the moment as you're standing there. And
yeah. And on the same part too, one reason why Keller did take this moment is you didn't have a bad wreck or anything. You just, sometimes you get on the bike and you just don't feel it. There's something that just feels off. And it happens to everybody. And he literally took it on his own at 15 years old, 14 at the time, and walked to the side and just took a deep breath and took the view in and just kind of reset himself. And it was a huge group that ride. I think Colin Crosby, his family, Dylan, Millie, his wife, your family, Tatum, your 3 boys. I think Jake and Bobby were there too.
Yeah, we had a huge group.
Aaron and his team, like, it was big, this one.
Yeah.
And it was like the first time when COVID went on that everybody, I think, first went out and actually did a group ride together. Mm-hmm. This big of a group ride, right?
Yeah.
And we're shuttling, so there's no uphill, which is even better.
It's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
A little side note on that, I took my cross-country kids, so I'm coaching cross-country this spring, and we went to Capitol Forest, and so I told him that, hey, we have to climb the hill, at least 1.5 times, and then I'll shuttle them a couple laps. And Cruz was like, I've never climbed this hill once, and I've ridden tons and tons of times here. I'm like, you're spoiled. Get on your bike and ride up the hill.
You had him climb the fire road?
Oh yeah, it was fun. I mean, I was on the e-bike, so I didn't care at all. I was like, haha, see you guys. Keep on riding because we're going up.
That orange e-bike's doing great for you.
Oh, it's so awesome. I mean, I don't know. I'm now an e-bike convert. Like, I love my trail bike, and I don't think there really is a huge, I would ride my trail bike downhill any day over the e-bike, but going uphill and towing kids and all the other ways we use it, it's so awesome. It just works so well. And they're pricey, but I don't know. I'm gaining a very strong love affair with that e-bike. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
your
go
picture
ahead.
In the background, looks like we got a little wreck going on back there.
We do. This wreck got me in a lot of trouble. So this is my nephew, Ethan, and Ethan is a new rider. He just got his bike about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. And Ethan and I have a really cool relationship. Well, it's cool for me, not so cool for him. Usually I make suggestions as far as things that he should do, and he usually is pretty willing to do it. I've got another video from when we were in Maine a couple of years ago, and I said, hey, Ethan, you can do a backflip just do it. And I think he slapped his hand or his head really hard on the diving board as he was going around. He lived, and it's fine, but I tend to be the one that gives Ethan the wrong suggestions at the wrong time. And so this was a good example of that. He had some really good things in that he was doing this jump onto the airbag. But Ethan had, in our family, we'd gone riding for last Saturday up at Duthie Hill, and he has progressed a ton just in the couple of rides that we've gone on recently. And so I was feeling pretty good about it. I was like, Ethan, you can do this. Let's go. Let's just do the airbag. Why try any of these little jumps that we have in the yard? Like, just go all out. And so our lander is the Loam Lander OG, but it's a prototype, so it doesn't have the extension like the new Loam Landers do. But regardless, it's a 6.5 foot jump or lander with a 6 foot kicker. And if you've never ridden any style of jumps, it's pretty intimidating. So first of all, for him to just attack that, I was pretty impressed with. Second is, we're still working out his suspension and his rebound. And long story short, his back end kicked in pretty hard, and he did the full OTB over the bars and bounced his way down the lander. He was totally fine. It's not that big a deal. And I wish that the sound of this video was actually on, because all you hear is Tatum and her mom have the uniform gasp of motherly and grandmotherly gasps. And you just watch Ethan bounce his way down this lander. After that experience of him going down, then I got the quick conversation from my wife about, why did you let him do this? Why did you let Ethan do that? It's like, well, he's fine. He totally made it. It's no big deal. You're like, he doesn't even know how to jump. I'm like, well, it's all right. He still made it through. And so that's, me and Ethan, he's a pretty awesome kid. And he usually does dumb things that his uncle suggests him to do, like go over, a jump that he's never, ever attacked before.
His form is not that bad, actually.
It was.
That rebound kicked him.
The rebound kicked him. And then it's hard to see in this video, but he was really far back on his bike. And so, like, had he been more centered on the bike, he probably would have rode it out and been totally fine.
When you lean back, it seems to shoot you forward, just from experience.
Yeah, I've heard that can happen from time to time. So yeah, he's totally cool. I sent the picture to his dad, and his dad thought it was hilarious. We didn't send the picture to his mom because we know that sometimes moms get a little more excited than they need to be. But he's going to be a good little rider. He's doing really good stuff.
He's looking good on that Evo.
Yeah. Oh, he talk about a kid that goes from riding the fresh, awesome Ferrari of bikes from not ever really having anything. He got a screaming deal on that. It's pretty awesome. He's loving that bike.
Nice.
So, Kevin, for our conversation, our podcast today, what I thought would be kind of fun for us to do is a couple of things. I know you just got back from a pretty fun trip that was mountain bike related, but not necessarily Loam Lander related. It sounded like you visited some really sweet shops. So I was hoping you could share somewhat, or some of the experiences you had, mostly just because it's entertaining and it's fun to hear about different places, especially around the world, around the United States.
Yeah, it was tons of fun. I got to go out to Montana. So I spent an entire week in Montana. I rep for multiple brands. So I got to go visit tons of bike shops. In 4.5 days, I drove 1,400 miles, and I still have more of Montana that I need to hit.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was crazy. Few bike shops point out, like, just jump out at me that are just tons of fun to visit. One was Great Divide and the Garage. It's in Helena. And actually, I really liked Helena. As I was talking to you throughout the week, like, this is my new favorite place.
Right.
And I go somewhere else. This is my new favorite place.
I was going to say, every day it changed.
Helena had a cool vibe to it. It'd definitely be hot in the summer, but it just had this really cool vibe up there. I don't know, it's one of those towns you get into and like the people are nice. And I just kind of got that vibe right away from Helena. And then there's the Garage, and right next to it's Great Divide, and it's a bike shop in one, but it's two different parts. The Garage is more the mechanic side, and Great Divide is more of the shop side, and kind of more of the trendy mountain bike side is more on the Garage, and then more of the everyday bike line is on Great Divide, but they're both connected. Really,
Cool.
really cool shop. And then another really cool spot out in the middle of nowhere, a place called Hamilton, Washington. I'm sorry, Montana. Sorry, Hamilton, Montana, not Washington. It's like an hour southwest, I guess, of Missoula. And you get into this town, Hamilton, you start driving into town, you see this bike shop. Hey, there it is. Well, no, it's like another 5 miles outside of town. So you go through town and you keep on going. And this place called Red Barn. And you actually end up turning down a dirt road. And all of a sudden there's this red barn with this massive mountain backdrop. It was just like the scenic, and you're just like, whoa, this is kind of weird. And then you don't know what to expect going into a bike shop out in the middle of nowhere. And I walk in and there's a Pivot sitting there right there. I mean, so it's kind of cool to see like high-end bikes and just a cool vibe in that shop. I'm kind of weird when it comes to antiques and stuff. And this huge like fireplace in there. It was just this massive cast iron fireplace. It was just heating the place. It was just kind of cool to see. And it was just, I think it was more, the Red Barn was just because it's out in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And how well he does. He's been there for like 20 years. And it's just a really cool shop in the middle of nowhere. But I literally drove all over Montana, had a great time, went into a few shops, and they happened to actually already be following Loam Lander.
Oh, nice.
And so I walk into the shop and they're like, hey, you're Loam Lander. Well, yes, I am. So we talked about it a little bit. And so that was kind of fun, like up in Big Sky and a couple other places where we went where there was just different interest. And it's going to be pretty cool seeing what's happening. Rad Bikes is a rad place. They have two shops, one in Big Sky and one in Bozeman. And they were fun to just hang out and talk with. Like, I think we talked more than we actually tried to sell each other stuff, or me to sell him. It was more just like hanging out and talking like we've known each other forever. But just in general, Montana was just tons of fun. I haven't been there since I was a little kid, and to go spend almost a week there and just drive and see the entire thing was amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, we chatted a few times while you were on that trip, and yeah, like you say, every other day, as you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. I really like this place, and the next day, it's like, oh, I really like this place. That'd be fun. I can't say that I wasn't a little bit jealous of that trip because it sounded like it was pretty awesome.
The only thing I regret is not bringing my bike.
Yeah,
but they still had snow in a lot of places. So next time I hit my Montana trip, I'll definitely have my bike with me, and there's supposed to be some epic riding out there. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh,
that's awesome. Well, I mean, and the great news is you'll be out there, a couple times a year, maybe, so you can just choose the best times to go and get some riding in all at the same time.
Yeah. You go out there and hang out with everybody.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, some of the shop owners that you're telling me about, like, they just sound like super fun, cool places, good people. I think you're telling me that like, the Red Barn guy has multiple times thought about, closing up, but just is so busy and people just drive from forever to come to him that there's no reason for him to ever do anything different.
It's exactly what it is. He's like an ex-racer and just opened a bike shop as a repair shop in his barn, and just it blossomed to this awesome, unique, quirky bike shop. And then I went into other bike shops, and the owners are like, hey, next time you come out here, I have property. You can just camp on my property. And just the welcoming was tons of fun. And then it was just really cool to go to weird random places, and they knew about Loam Lander. Like, that was really exciting to see. We're launching, we're having a good time. We're starting off. We have bags that are selling, and we're not even pushing too hard right now. And it was just like, you're Loam Lander. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm famous or anything, but it kind of felt a tiny bit.
Well, I don't know. I think that it's kind of fun when you see all the work and time that we've put into this starting to blossom a little bit. Yeah. I mean, we are at the very beginning stages, and maybe this flower is just barely starting to peak out. And that's kind of what our thoughts are, and our excitement is that we haven't even yet begun. We are just at the beginning of where our journey is hopefully starting and going. And I hope that the excitement can be very loud and obvious in the way we talk about Loam Lander and the way that we express kind of what's going on with it. One thing that was kind of fun from what you just said, and especially about the shop owners, opening up their lives to you, maybe even their properties to you, is how that all ties into, like, we are amazingly one big family. That's what's odd to me. I have lots of different, passions. I have lots of different things that I do in life that you kind of are there and you do whatever you're doing and you leave. And there's not a whole lot that, that corresponds after that. In a mountain biking world, it is definitely one of those experiences where you ride down the trail and all of a sudden you make a friend, and that friendship turns into something, that you wouldn't ever expect it to be. It's just kind of surprising as a new rider. And I'm sure that lots of new riders experience that right away. At least that was my experience from the very beginning.
Yeah. You're on the side of a trail and you have a derailleur failure, you have a flat, if a next rider goes by, you're like, hey, do you need anything? Well, actually, I forgot my pump. They're going to take their time, pull out their pump, even if they're in the middle of a big ride, and take care of each other. And it's just that whole family vibe. Yeah. We're all looking out for each other.
It is. I mean, and it's fun. And I think that's what makes it so unique. It comes to the stage where it doesn't matter who you are outside of this world. When you're in this world and in this, environment, you're all pretty much the same. And from an experienced rider to a very beginning rider, for the most part, people are very excited to chat and be friendly, and sometimes over friendly. Sometimes you learn more about people than you'd ever want to know.
Yeah. And again, we've talked about this a little bit. It's not about how good you are. It's just, we're out there having fun riding together. Mm-hmm. You don't need to be the best rider. There's obviously riders that are way better than us, and they're kids.
Yeah. Oh, and their kids.
Have fun.
Yeah. I was going to say, and their kids. Usually most of the kids that we ride with can ride circles around us all day long, every day. And we're just there hanging on.
You get Rhonda and Tatum and get them out there. And, it's about just being together. It's about just being on the trail together and having fun.
Right.
And looking at views like Keller's looking at right now, and, stuff like that.
Well, I mean, it's just those experiences that you can't experience other ways. You can, but I mean, it's just not the same.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. Well, while we're speaking of family or the mountain biking community, one thing that you and I are trying and going to be, playing with over the next couple of weeks is an interview series. And honestly, I think that this is something that we'd like to see continue in all sorts of aspects of our podcast. So we actually had the Backyard Shredder team, which is our good friends Jake and Bobby. They were at my home this week riding our airbag, and Jake was getting in, Jake and Cruz and Beckham usually get into a lot of trouble building trails or just doing stupid stuff. And anyway, they were at my house, and I interviewed them. And so for our podcast and really close to the end of our podcast, I wanted to share a couple of those interviews. They're pretty basic and very, very short, but we want to let others get to know them a little bit better. First, as an introduction, Jake and Bobby have a YouTube channel called Backyard Shredder. And it's just a dad and a son that like to go out and ride. And they are pretty fun videos to watch. Usually, to me, it's the most fun is just listening to them laugh. Most of their videos is laughter because they are excited about what they're doing, and they're happy, and they're just good people. So as that introduction is, what we're going to do.
Hit play.
Okay.
If anybody has an extra small bike, Jake is looking for an extra small bike. He's about 4'10". There's nothing in the world for sale, obviously, with bikes. So if anybody has a frame or something along those lines with 27.5s, extra small bike, 150 mil travel or more, please reach out. We'll get you Jake connected.
Yes. And Jake he
needs a bike.
He does. He's a super shredder. I mean, he is a very talented rider, and he needs a new race bike. I mean,
there's nothing available.
Right. He'll still kill it on his spawn, but he could definitely use a bigger bike.
Yeah.
So Jake, we have a few questions. So Kevin and I are doing our Loam Lander podcast this week. Mm-hmm. And so we have 5 questions to ask you. So the first question is, what does mountain biking mean to you?
I don't understand too well, but like,
when you think about mountain biking, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Sending it. I don't know.
Sending it. That's perfect. So mountain biking means to you sending it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, or I don't know, hanging out with friends and having fun. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Someone in that. area.
That's excellent. That's exactly what I think it means. Okay, second question is, what's your favorite trail
Favorite trail?
ever?
Ooh. Stevens Pass is pretty fun.
Okay.
I like Dry Hill. I don't know if it's at Doothie. I like Capitol Forest a lot. I'm trying to think. Yeah, probably one of the trails at Capitol, actually.
Cool.
Yeah. I
So
like
you
this a lot.
prefer downhill stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Who's your favorite pro and why?
I don't know. That's hard.
Which pro do you know the best?
I don't know. I know Fabio Wimmer pretty good. He's really good.
He is. He's way good.
Sure. I guess I'll do him. I don't really know a lot of pro riders.
No, that's pretty awesome. Okay. The last two questions. First one, ice cream or candy bar?
Oh, it depends on what candy bar. And it depends on ice cream. If it's like cookies and cream ice cream, but it's like, if it's like Reese's, then
And Reese's?
probably candies.
Okay. So you're a mix.
Yeah.
It just depends on what it is.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so here's the last question. And there's no right answer. In fact, we don't even know what the answer is. I'm going to give you a word, and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Loamer. What is a loamer?
First thing that comes to mind is a jump that is just low, like a loam, not a Loam Lander airbag, just a loam.
Just loam?
Jump.
So
Just
nice.
a loam jump.
Cool. Why does that come to mind?
I think mostly just because I'm kind of sitting around
You're
it.
sitting around loam? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So, sweet.
Yeah.
And if I was to say, I want to be a loamer, what would you think that is?
Trail builder that only builds in loam. I don't know.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for
right.
answering a few of our questions. So you're going to be on our podcast this week.
That's cool.
So, sweet. Thanks,
right.
Jake.
Yeah.
We're good.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you.
Something to say. You could tell he's a little nervous though. But
He was in front of the camera
yeah,
without a helmet.
that's right. Get him some ice cream or some candy bars, and he is one happy camper.
But I'm gonna hit you with a question.
Oh yeah, what's that?
What is your favorite trail?
Ooh. So the first real mountain bike trail that I went on was one called Bobsled, and that's in Salt Lake City. And I love that trail. And I would have said that was my favorite trail, except for we rewrote it again this past summer. And it was dusty and sandy, and it was not as fun of an experience. There are a lot of really fun trails that I've been on. I honestly don't know. Oh, I do know. Sorry. Crank It Up at Whistler is my favorite trail.
Good answer. Good answer.
Immediately. Yeah. There's no question. That's my favorite trail today.
Good answer.
Wait until tomorrow. How about you, Kevin? What's your favorite trail?
Whistler was tons of fun. Bobsled at Mount Fromm is a lot of fun.
That's a fun trail. Yep.
Espresso, also Mount Fromm. But Crank It Up is a blast. I think it was more bobsled at Mount Fromm, and I think it's more because of the first experience of going.
Yeah.
It was just Keller and I up there. I was actually dumping rain. Like way back in my Instagram, you can go see the video. It was raining so hard. Like by the time we got out of the car, we already soaked our underwear. It was just like, it was bad.
Oh.
And as with, anyways.
Yeah.
It was just bobsled. And we've been in there a few times after that. And just, it's more of the experience than necessarily the best trail, but Crank It Up is so much fun.
Yeah. I was going to say, most of those times when you have those, like we drove here, we're riding it. It doesn't matter what's going on,
Yes.
but they also are truly some of the better memories that we have, at least that I have. That's awesome. Yeah. It's, I don't know. There are very few trails that I've hated.
So, Loam Lander podcast this week, we're interviewing Backyard Shredder. And in case you guys didn't know, there's actually two members of the Backyard Shredder team. We have Jake and his dad, Bobby. So we have a few questions to ask Bobby. And since they came over to our house to play on the airbag today, I thought, well, this is a perfect time to do this. That's right. You're trapped. You can't leave. So question number 1 is, in your own view, what would you say mountain biking means to you?
It's stress relief for me.
Yeah.
It's getting out, enjoying the woods, and just having fun with friends. Honestly, a lot of fun with friends. That's when we have the most fun. Is when we invite you guys and Kevin and everybody along and have a good time.
Sweet. We certainly have a good time together. That's for sure. We've been through and to a few places together. It's super fun.
Yes, yeah, definitely a few.
Out of your experiences you guys have had over the past couple of years, do you have one day that you can remember as like your favorite mountain biking day?
Favorite day.
Like, and it could be just you and Jake, or it could be, a whole group, whatever, if you can think of anything that kind of comes to mind as your favorite day.
Gosh, I don't know. Favorite day, that's hard. That's a hard question because I've had a lot of really, really good days out riding. I don't remember if it was a day in particular, but when we very first started riding, that I remember not feeling as much joy in years as I was riding a bike when we very first started riding. So I tell people this all the time. Like, I remember when I very first started riding, it was the joy I got from riding. It was really awesome. So I don't know what particular time that was, but it was when we first started about 3 years ago. But other than that, the mile plus 35s, the Doothy, the 360 Park, the Airbag here with you guys has been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was thinking about that same question as I was putting things together. It's like, I don't really know if I have a specific day either, because we've had lots of fun.
Yeah,
it's been awesome. Okay, next question for you is ice cream or candy bar?
Oh, ice cream.
Ice cream.
Yeah.
Is there a particular type?
Oh yeah, Bluebell.
Bluebell. You're a Texas man.
I am a Texas boy.
So, well, here in the Northwest, we don't get any Bluebell. I guess
it's unfortunate.
I guess you could probably order it in or something.
You can. It's very costly.
Right. Just have some good friends bring it up to you, I guess.
That's yeah.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite trail?
I think I do. Any of the ones up at Stevens Pass. Yeah. I really like those trails there. The tech trail they have there is a lot of fun. I don't know the name of it, but also the race trail, the Cat 3 race trail. I think it's Piranha Bird to Rock Crusher.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fun trail. Fun.
That's
a few
awesome.
Jumps, really fast, a lot of corners.
And best of all, lift access, right?
Lift access.
That's the very best, for sure.
I know, 100% the best. I'm sure if I went to Whistler, my answer would be different. But
soon enough, as soon as the border opens,
yes,
we'll be all going up together, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
So this is your final question, and the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word loamer, what does that mean to you?
Loamer?
Loamer. Now, this is a made-up word, so it can be whatever you want it to be. But if you just heard, I'm a loamer, what would that say to you?
I would think you're a trail builder.
Okay.
Like a trail builder. You're out in the loam, churning it up.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a loamer.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Well, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So this has been perfect. So now we have the whole Backyard Shredder team. And we're excited to share this podcast with you guys and some of their thoughts about those questions.
Thank you.
Those are great answers.
I thought they were fantastic. This is totally on the spot. The neighbor decided to start weed or blowing leaves in the middle of our little questionnaire. So, it's not totally polished, but they're awesome for even doing it for us. I appreciate it. Thanks, Bobby and Jake. Our loamer question, I think that's going to get people. We don't, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah. For all those people listening, send us a message. What do you think a loamer is?
What is a loamer? I'll tell you, we've got our ideas of what a loamer is, and I think it's pretty exciting.
We'll share those real soon. Those are, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, what do you think? I think we've gotten quite a bit discussed and talked about this evening. I thought it was a pretty fun podcast. I hope that you are, as our listener, enjoyed this podcast, and that you can come back for more, because we'll have a lot more to say. We really have a lot of excitement going on with this Loam Lander stuff, and we've got some big plans, some good things coming up. And thank you.
We appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Enjoy your riding.